So you've really and truly decided to stay in France?
You know what? I love this Provence. It's like a secret garden we all know is there and none of us ever find. And I love my painting. I adore my father. And you.
I'll call you tomorrow.
All right.
Oh, Kate. I want to talk to you. Come up and sit down. Prove, I was hoping that I would never have to tell you these things, but you've opened such old and deep wounds in your father with your obsession with the Jews and your relationship with Eric Avidor.
Eric?
You see, only 10 years before you were born, World War II was going on, and terrors that you can't even imagine were an everyday event.
You mean somehow I've been reminding him of what he went through?
In a way. In a way. I'm speaking about the occupation of France and what went on here at that time. When I got back after the war, Mart told me things that I never thought I'd speak of to anybody. You must understand, Fauve, that in those last years of the war, the Germans knew what was happening everywhere in France, even here in Felice. And they took all the able-bodied men away to work as forced labor in Germany.
Yeah, well, I know that from school.
Yes. And your father would have had to go too, but for the protection of a high-ranking Nazi with whom he became very friendly, very close.
I don't believe that.
No, of course you don't. I know how difficult it must be for you to understand even a little thing like that.
A little thing?
That officer was an art lover, and he supplied your father with precious paints. Impossible to get otherwise. Some of your father's best work was done in those years, when he could have been spending himself like the others, as a slave in the Ruhr.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah, but you must. To make you understand, in order to fully grasp how merciless are the demands that your father's genius makes upon him. Like when he told his German friend about the gang of young thugs who stole his sheets. For years he had nothing else to use as canvas. How was he to know they were members of the Marquis? It was a terrible misunderstanding, something he'll never forgive himself for. 10 of them all caught and shot on the spot. Why, he would never have even known what had become of them if the Germans hadn't returned the sheets.
I don't believe a word of what you're saying.
Oh, it's only meant as an example of the horrific things that happen in times of war. Like the Jews who came to Mistral for help.
The Jews? What Jews?
From Paris, trying to get out of occupied France, away from the Nazis. Old friends of his from his Paris days. They came, and they kept coming, ringing that bell. But your father wouldn't help. Oh, it is so difficult trying to explain this to someone of your generation. How can you know what it means? Wait. I will make you understand. Your father's work was at stake. Do you know what that means? Nothing else was important.
You're a liar.
Ask Adriana Avidor if you don't believe me. I was only trying to tell you how much you were hurting your father.
Oh, thank goodness you're home.
You refused to give shelter to the Jewish refugees during the war. Did you listen to the bell ringing and not go to the gate to let them in?
Avigdor. What the hell has he been telling you?
So it's true. Did you ever think about all the people that died because of you? You collaborated. Say something!
Please, come on. Tell me what's wrong.
No, Eric.
Please let me help. I know I can.
No, Eric.
Don't you trust me? Nothing can be that bad.
I just can't talk about it.
Come on, to me.
But Eric, if you keep on, I'll scream. Stop it.
All right. You wait. Will you answer my letters?
Yes.
Fauve. If you were a few years older, I'd never let you go. No matter what. You know that, don't you?
Yes, Eric. No, please, don't come up.
We never did go to Linnell.
No.
Never forget me.
Oh, Maggie, you were right. It was a mistake to go there in the first place.
Oh, I don't think I put it quite that way. Let me look at you. Ooh. You want to talk about it?
No, Maggie.
Perhaps later.
I don't think so. So how's Darcy?
Oh, they say he's fine.
They?
I haven't seen him for a few weeks, and I don't think I'll ever see him again. Now, which art school have you decided on?
I'm not going to art school. I'm out of painting. Forever.
But you have talent. Everyone says so, even Mistral.
I said forever, Maggie.
I know you've made up your mind for something. What are you going to do?
I'd like to work at the agency.
As a model?
Of course not. Like you said years ago, better collect 10% from all the models than be one yourself.
Spoken like a true Lunel.
I'd like to work under you and learn. I want to learn everything, you know.
I'm delighted.
Pierce, please contact the customs office.
Monsieur Mistral! Monsieur Mistral, thank God! Where have you been?
None of your business.
But it's Madame. She's very sick, you know. Huh? Yes.
Kate. You should have told me, Kate.
I was afraid it would interfere with your painting.
Yes. That is something you have always understood about me. What have I ever given you?
We were neither of us saints.
No. But in our way, we did love one another once.
That was a long time ago.
The time has come to say farewell to our sister, Catherine Mistrál. It is a moment of sadness for us, but we hope to see Catherine again when God will reunite us in His kingdom. Let us think, let us pray and remember all of us who have known her, what she was for us.
Well, I'm almost packed.
I see. You know, I understand, but I don't exactly understand why you're leaving. We don't argue, we're never in the kitchen at the same time, and we don't steal each other's boyfriends.
No, I don't know. I think I'm a late developer. I mean emotionally. I need to learn to be alone. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not growing up. Not the way I want.
I will miss you very much.
That's the moving man.
Fauve, you never did tell me what happened.
So when did this cooking syndrome creep up on you?
It didn't. It was very sudden.
Ah.
You're my first victim, Melvin.
Well, it was your mother's, too.
You've always been able to read me, haven't you?
You just lost me.
Well, I lured you here with my amateur cooking to get you to tell me about Teddy. Nobody will talk to me about her. Not even you. Why?
I always thought Maggie told you about her. But nothing's been hidden.
The basic details. The things I have to be told. Well, I'm just a few years younger than she was when she died. Would I have loved her? What sort of thing did she care about most in the world? Why didn't she marry you?
You know about that?
Yeah. Were you lovers?
I was the first boy who ever told her she was beautiful. I took her out on her first date. I gave her her first kiss. I was the first man who ever made love to her. The only thing I wasn't was the first man whose heart she broke. She was looking for some other thing.
Did she have many lovers?
I told you she was looking for some other thing. She looked for a long time, and whenever she realized that she hadn't found it, she looked elsewhere. So she had a number of lovers.
But she cared about them.
Each one. Until she stopped caring and started looking again. And then she found your father. And he was what she wanted, God help her. I'm sorry, that was unnecessary.
It's okay, I'll get some fresh coffee.
Hey.
Wait a minute, Melvin. Give them to me.
Hell, I will. How long has this been going on?
Come on. Give it to me. Let's
Do you
try
have
it.
any idea how good you really are, you dumb
They're
kid?
just doodles,
They are
Melvin.
superb.
Don't make me mad.
Why don't you just junk the agency and be who you really are?
No.
Your dinner, monsieur.
Here, I'm busy.
Monsieur has been like this for days. Don't you think I should call Dr. Guillermin?
I don't need a doctor. Devil take all doctors. Call the angel Gabriel if you like.
But late for our own birthday party? I've never known fauve late for anything.
Well, you can bet it's business. Do you want one of these?
Eat it today and
Wear it tomorrow. Lally, you look lovely.
Thank you. Maggie, did you hear that Darcy is...
Oh, Lally. Do you know why I know that you are the very best friend I have in the whole world? Because you are always the last one to tell me anything you think will hurt me.
Yes.
I know that Darcy has been seeing the very young and very lovely Miss Beaumont. I hope he's happy. I really do.
Maggie, look what I brought you. Just off the bus from Arkansas.
This is why you are late?
Mm-hmm. Do you think what I think?
You're forgiven. What is your name?
Clegg.
Arkansas. That's the name I just gave her.
Do you drink champagne, Arkansas?
Darned if this isn't a day for firsts. Yes, ma'am, I believe I will.
Happy birthday, darling.
How do you like Arkansas?
She's very, Arkansasian.
Excuse me, Lally. Now, darling, I'm sorry to talk business on your birthday, but I absolutely must have Casey for 2 weeks. She must go to the south of France to look after the girls for the Capello collection.
Oh. And what about me?
What about you?
I could use a break.
Ah, how about it?
I would think about it.
Lordy, don't all these folks just look so friendly?
Remember what I told you about French men?
Not to trust 'em worth a spit.
And who do you suppose these men are you're grinning at?
Well, Lord knows they're not wearing name tags, Val. They might just be foreigners like us.
And I want you to remember there's no such thing as a merely friendly gesture from any Latin man. Their whole life is wrapped up in the art of seducing women. I mean, they're the most outrageous Casanovas in the world. And you wouldn't want to get mixed up with one under any circumstances. Have I made myself...
Mademoiselle?
How dare you! Eric! What are you doing here?
I live here, remember? As it happens, I'm designing a new marina. I think I can see what you're doing here.
Girls, this is Eric Avigdor, an old friend of mine.
Howdy, Eric.
Hello.
Ladies, excuse me.
Oh, that's nice.
Why did you stop writing?
But I didn't. You did.
That's not possible. I wrote, even though I thought my letters were too trivial for you.
I thought my letters were too dull.
I decided you'd fallen in love with someone, and you didn't want to write to me about it.
I imagined that every man in New York was after you.
I had to beat them off with sticks.
And that you were probably involved. I mean, in love with someone.
I wasn't.
Not even a little bit?
What I call love doesn't come in little bits. But what about you in all those years?
Well, I tried hard work, drink, other women, all the specifics against a broken heart.
What broken heart?
Mine. I never fell out of love with you, and you never came back to me, so it broke.
Never ever in my whole life have I been so exactly where I want to be.
Where? The Riviera?
No, this bed. The world is this bed. I never want to leave it.
But you don't have to. I'll keep you here forever. Feed you with caviar, champagne, and...
And what?
And loving.
Waffles with melted butter and strawberry jam. How'd you do that?
I have this technique. I dipped into your subconscious while you were asleep last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I found something else there, too.
What?
You have a deep desire to marry me.
I can't marry you.
Why not? We love each other. We've loved each other for such a long time.
Well, I can't let Maggie run the agency by herself, and besides, you can't base a marriage on one night. And what would I do with myself in Avignon?
That's 3 reasons. I prefer one. One would be real.
Well, I'm sorry.
I loved you from the first minute we met. Obviously, it wasn't the same for you.
I guess I'd better leave.
Yes, I guess. Fauve, you've got to learn to trust your own feelings, your own emotions, other people.
Well, I tried that, Eric, but it doesn't work.
Only love can make a memory. Only love can make a moment last. You were there, and all the world was young, and all its songs unsung, and I remember you then when love was all you were living for, and how you gave that love to me.